Hey guys, let's take a look on how you can test USB cables. You see here, for example, that I have this controller for my PlayStation and I need to use a USB-C to USB-A cable to connect to the console, or in this case I'm going to connect to a mini PC that I have just right here. That's the one from AC Magic. I'm running here a operating system that loads my games, and I need to connect a cable here via the USB-A port, right? So if I don't get the correct cable, it's not gonna work. That's the reason I need to test my cables. I have a lot of different cables here, as you can see, so I can test them, right? So what I have here is this tester. That's the one that I'm using, and I can test all cables. Let me just show here basically how it works. You see that I have this USB-C to USB-C cable. Then I can just come here and connect the cable here on this port. It's a USB-C port, and then I connect the other end of the cable just right here, right? I can do this with USB-A as well. So let me just come here, connect it, and then I come here, connect it again. Just turn it on. There we go. And here you see the basic functions, and it shows everything, right? You see here, for example, this one has data transmission working with 2.0. 3.2 is not available for this cable. And here, power transmission works with a power delivery or power device, right? For 60 watts, 65 watts, less than 65 watts. And then when I press here, it changes to the next screen. And you see here the wires. You see there's a lot of red dots, which means there's no wires here. When I press again, you see resistance test. And here USB-E marker. There's no USB-E marker on this cable. And back to the basic functions. See here, and when I take a look and I change the cable, you can see clearly the difference between cables. Here, for example, let me just grab this one, USB-A to USB-C, and you see now the difference already. On basic functions, there's USB 2.0 and 3.2. In data transmission, it's different here as well. So this cable is for data, not for power. So they are different. And here you see a Type-C cable. There are some differences here on the wiring. And then resistance test. And here no USB-C marker. Back to the basic. And I keep changing and testing like this. So basically that's the tester that you need, right? Let's just grab this cable here. See, USB-C to USB-C again. You see that every single cable can show something different here. Again, now see 2.0 for data transmission and 3.2, but power transmission here, see PD less than 65 watts, right? And you see more wires available here. Just 3 of them are not available. And resistance test and no E marker, right? Let's just keep testing. See more and more. And here I have USB-A to USB-C again. I thought it was something different, right? But you see this one? No data transmission, no power transmission. It's the basic power transmission, right? No data. And here you see the wiring, missing a lot of wires. And here no USB-C marker. One more. This one is to power devices. You see here this is from pluggable. And here you see the information about 240 watts, right? You see here this one has USB-E marker. There we go, the information here about Thunderbolt 3, 50 volts, 5 amps, 240 watts, 10 gigabits per second, that's the speed, and 20 gigabits per second as well. So I have all the information with the USB-E marker. Is the first one that has the E marker here. That's a chip on the cable. Data transmission, you see here USB 2.0 and 3.0, and here you see pretty good for power, right? So it's a long cable that's good for data and power. That's why you can't just use a tester like this and grab cables that has quality. So much better. And you see here the wiring, just missing 2 of them here. So this cable is really good. Resistance test. And back here to the E marker, right? The only one that I have here with E marker. And I have another one here. Again, USB-A to micro USB, right? And I have a way to test here as well. See, they have different connectors here, different ports for different cables. So I just connect this one here as well. And you see now USB 2.0 and power transmission, just this one. And I see the difference here for this one because it's a micro USB. You see here the details as well. One more time here, resistance test and USB E marker. It asks to connect Type-C cable. This one doesn't work with the E marker, right? And back to the basic functions. So that's the idea. You can use this device, for example, to test everything. I'll leave the link here in the description. And the idea is basically make sure that you have the correct cable to use with your devices. Here, for example, I have this controller and I was testing a cable like this one and it was not working, right? Because this one has no data working. So I had to grab a different cable like this one, for example. It's a shorter one, but just to make sure that the cable was the problem, I could connect here to my device. Let me just show you here basically that I can just connect here to the port. First, I'm going to connect here to the USB-C port on the controller, and then I connect here to this port, here USB-A, and then I can start using already, right? See, working. And it was not working before with the other cable. That's why sometimes you cannot make your system work because you're just using the wrong cable. And this device here allows you to get it right, okay? So I hope that helps. I'll leave the link here in the description. You can get yours on Amazon. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave your comments, and I see you in the next one.